Hello, so this time we will now be talking about solving equations, but this time the variables are found on both sides. Okay, so our goal is to solve equations with variables on both sides. Goal pretty much is the same as the title of this lesson, but anyways, all right, so let's go straight to the problems here. What is the solution of 5x plus 2 equals 2x plus 14? Now, as you can see, according to the given example here, that you have your x as our variable, and you can find them on the left side and also on the right side of the equation, okay? So what you need is to make sure that you put all the variables on one side and then all the constants on the other side, okay? So choose a side where you want your variables to be. Now, most typically, we are using the variable on the left side, okay? The variable will be on the left side, and then all the constants will be on the right side. That's the most common. So variable here, and then equal sign, and then all the constants are on the other side, okay? So in this case, we would like to transfer positive 2x to the other side, okay? While positive 2, this positive 2 needs to go to the other side of the equation. So how are we going to do that? So in this case with 2x, so we need to transfer it to the other side. So there are several techniques that you can remember here. Anytime that a variable or a constant jumps over the equal sign, the sign changes, okay? So if this is a positive 2x, it becomes negative 2x on the other side, okay? Now, if you cannot remember that all the time, all you need to do is use your inverse operation. So this is a positive 2x. So you will be using minus 2x, and you also put a minus 2x over here, okay? And so now the right side, if you combine like terms, you now have a 3x plus 2 is equal to 14. And like what we have said earlier, this positive 2 on the left side needs to jump to the other side of the equation, and so we use our inverse operation. Positive 2 or plus 2 needs to be subtracted by 2. So now that's gone. This will be subtracted by 2 as well. And so what you can see here now is we have a 3x on the left side of the equation. 14 minus 2 is now going to be equal to 12. And our last operation to do, this is 3 times x. So we divide by 3. We divide by 3, and so x is now equal to 4, okay? So just always remember, all the variables need to be on just one side of the equation. All the constants need to be on the other side. That's your main goal when you are solving equations with variables on both sides, okay? So let's have the next example. So here we have 7k plus 2 is equal to 4k minus 10. So go ahead, try this one out on your own. All right, so if you are going to be deciding on where you want your variables and constants to be, our variables are all on the left side of the equation. So you can see we had a minus 4k, and then the 2 was transferred to the other side, so you have that minus 2, and eventually your k will be equal to negative 4. All right. So let's try to apply these on word problems. So it says here that it takes a graphic designer 1.5 hours to make one page of a website, okay? Now using a new software. So let's take note of those things. So it's currently it's 1.5 hours to make one page. Now with a new software, a designer can complete one page in 1.25 hours. So it's a shorter time, but it takes 8 hours to learn the software. So we have also to consider that. So the question now is, how many web pages would the designer have to make sure that he saves time using the new software. Okay, so we have an identified value here, and that is the number of pages. Okay, so let's use P as our number of pages. So this is the variable that we are using. So we can use P for the number of pages. Okay, so what we are looking at here is if it takes 1.5 hours to make one web page, so we do not know how many web page. So however, no matter how many pages he makes, it always takes him 1.5 hours to create one. So if that is the software that he is using, there of course will be a specific time on how much he can finish that. Now, how do we know if he can save time we using the new software? Now remember, the new software, what are the restrictions of the new software? It will take 1.25 hours for every web page, but again, you have to learn the new software with 8 hours. So that time you can create faster web pages, but you have to consider the additional 8 hours to learn the software. And so in this case, you will see that our equation, whenever you're using the old software, let's equate them to each other so that we can identify when can we save more time with the new software. Okay, so this is 1.5p equals 1.25p equals plus 8. So we solve our equation. We want all our variables on one side. So since we have it here, this is minus 125p, so that's gone, minus 1.25p. And so subtracting these two, you will now get 0.25, okay? So this is now 0.25p is equal to 8. And of course, you divide, since p is multiplied by 0.25, you divide by 0.25, you divide also by 0.25, and the number of web pages needs to be 32, okay? So what does that mean? If this designer creates 32 web pages, he is pretty much spending the same amount of time, whether he's using the old software or the new software. So how many web pages does he need to create to make sure that he is saving more time? So he needs to create more than 32. He needs to create 33, okay? He must make around 33 pages to make sure that he is saving some time, okay? All right, so you can try this one on your own as well. So go ahead, figure this one out. So in this particular problem, you see that the spent amount is 650. The savings is from 112 to 88. So the question is, how many months will the copier pay for itself? So pretty much the savings that you get for every month that you were using it to be able to pay for itself, it has to be equal to 650. So the equation 112 minus 88 multiplied by m is equal to 650, and solving for the value of m, it will take around 27 months for the copier to pay for itself.